Welcome back to the channel. We're back on part 3 of this 1811 restore, and today I forgot in part 2 to tighten up the valve when we replace the steering box. So we're going to get the lever in time, change the hydraulic lines, change the drag link, and we're also going to fix the cam just for the height of the deck. Now this one here, I took the stud out. I actually had to use a pipe wrench to get it out. We're going to rethread it. Right here's the knob we're going to use, and right here's the cam adjustment. Now it's 3/8 24, and we're going to run a tap through it, get it rethreaded. You want to make sure that it's nice and free on the knob. If you don't, you're going to have issues. You're probably going to break it off in your machine, and then you're going to have to take this piece out, which is welded on the back side, and replace it. So going to put you in the stand. We're going to get that rethreaded. Right there's the tap I'm going to use. I'm going to use a pair of vice grips because of the step rod right here. Actually, this holds the frame together and it holds the step. And we're going to use them vice grips, and we're going to get them threads straightened out. So we're going to spray it down with some WD-40 first. And I've already rethread the knob. I just put it in the vise and used a die and rethreaded it. And actually, I believe it needed it, to be honest. So we're going to try to get it started straight, which is a challenge, I will admit. Take your time. I believe we have it. And you can hear, I'll be quiet, and you can hear how bad, how much rust is in there. Now this is well worth your time. If you have a large frame like a 128, 129, it's 7/16 fine. And we should be in pretty good shape right there. Now, I always pay attention to details when I'm putting these machines together. It's best to do it now before you have it all together. And it's definitely a lot easier to do this when the fenders are off the machine. So, and there we go. We're all set. Now, you don't have to do that, I will admit. I just like everything perfect on it. So next we're going to go to the hydraulic lines. We're actually going to remove them from the valve first. Now I'm going to do this before I get the valve tight. I'm going to replace these. It's going to take a 9/16 to do it. We're going to do the hard one first. These are JIC fittings. What that means is these are what I call a bullet type fitting. When you put the male and the female together, they have a point in them, and they're going to seal right in there. So you don't need elastic tape. I know I've said that before, but I get a lot of machines that they put elastic tape on JIC, but you don't need to do that at all. JIC, in my opinion, is absolutely the best. Probably will get some fan mail on it, but it just self-seals, and it's a lot better than pipe. So next we're going to get into the cylinder area right here. That's going to be a little bit more difficult. So I'm going to use just a regular wrench to do it. If you have a crowfoot wrench, it'll be a lot easier. You'll probably have to take your grass screen off. This one here is missing the grass screen, so I'm going to go right in from the bottom. Now, it's going to be tight in this area right here. If necessary, you can take the keeper out for the cylinder. But this one here seems to be coming out fairly well. I'm going to spray it down a little bit so that nut on that fitting there starts turning a little bit easier. And then I'm hopefully going to take it right off with my fingers. And it's tight. that fitting there is just about ready to fall off, and it is. So we dropped that line right out of there, and you can see it's an awfully bad shape. So we're going to put the new line on, and actually we're going to put it on the back first. We're going to spray it down with some WD-40. Make sure that nut is really nice and loose. If you have to, just put a 9/16 socket on it with an impact. My impact just went down, and Milwaukee's going to warranty it for me. And I'm going to really miss it. So everything for the next week is going to be filmed doing everything by hand. So you can just put them right with an impact and make sure you get them nice and loose. So we're going to do everything with the old-fashioned way for the next week, all the filming. Now, a person asked me, how often do you film? I pretty much film all day long, things that have to come apart. A lot of times when I'm pulling something apart, it's because I have it sold, and I show you how to do that. That is going to be nice and tight in that area right there, and I don't have it. So I'm going to go to the other side, see if I can get it a little bit easier. And I knew that was going to be a little bit of an issue. There we go. We're going to tighten it right up. I'm going to leave it about there. Now, I noticed that this other one was right up next to the cylinder. Me personally, I like to have it about that angle right there. And that should be tight enough. That should self-seal. So now we're going to go back to the front, and we're going to put it on the valve. I'm going to tighten that right up. Now, you might have to retighten them a little. Doubt it, but maybe. If you do, you do. That's why it's a good idea before you put your fuel tank in to make sure your harness and your hydraulic lines are not leaking. This one here is a little loose on the cylinder. We will tighten that up. That's O-ring on the other side. Now, I have to replace the harness. I have one all out and ready. Had to do a couple repairs on it, and when I do the harness, I'm going to explain what I actually had to do to it. I'm going to tighten that up just a little bit. We'll get the other line. Now, I made a mistake. And that happens. And you can't screw them up. Now, I noticed when I got the other line, it wasn't long enough. And it really doesn't matter how you put them on, but your hydraulic lines, you can't make a screw up on it. So right here is the short one. The short one goes in the front of the cylinder. Yeah, I make mistakes also. There we go there. Now, obviously, I didn't have to go get hoses made because I have a pile of them on the shelf. If you look back at some of my other videos, I show some of the hardware and how much I've accumulated over the years. But I've parted out quite a few of these machines, so I have plenty of parts. I'm going to tighten up this one here. We're in pretty good shape. I am going to move it just a little bit. What I'm going to do is loosen up this fitting right here. I believe it's going to take 11/16, and I'm going to turn that just a little bit clockwise so this line here isn't hitting on the bottom. So we'll loosen it up. I'm going to turn it just a little bit, just like that. We're going to retighten it. And we're in pretty good shape. So now we're going to get the valve in time. We're going to get it in the center so you have plenty of lever action. And then we're going to come back to the front. We're going to tighten up the clamp on the top first. But I'm going to show you the side view first, where you want the valve adjusted on your steering column. Now, this one here is a bent a little bit too. You don't have to tighten them awfully tight, but you also don't want them moving on you. So I'm going to move the camera to the side, show you about where it's supposed to be. You want it so the lever is right about in this area right here. We're in pretty good shape right there. Before I move the camera back, I'm going to tighten it up just a little bit so we don't lose what we gained. Then we'll tighten up the front. We should be in pretty good shape. Now I'm going to get the valve tightened. Now this one here I should be able to get. I'm using that 13mm socket. It's a stubby. We're going to tighten it about there. We're going to use a 1/2-inch wrench on this side. Now I've used the crowfoot before wrench. It's not as handy as a regular wrench in this area right here. So you don't need one for this area right here. But when you're working on these cadets, it's a good idea to get some crowfoot wrenches. You need 11/16, 9/16, and you also need a 1/2-inch. So that'll get you by. When you're working on the lines in the back by the transmission, the 11/16 crowfoot wrench really helps. So we'll make sure we're in pretty good shape. We should be in pretty good shape. Now I'll show you the other side. Actually, I'm going to adjust it up a little bit. I'm going to take time and do it. And I'll show you at the end why I readjusted it. I'm that particular. So we're going to loosen it up a little bit. And I'm going to adjust it. Now, when you're doing the double valves, which I have, I think, 3 videos on YouTube on that, you definitely want to have them in time because you have 2 levers and you have to have them in time and an adjustment. So I'm going to go up a little bit and see, because I didn't want this lever right here hitting on the dash right there. And we should be in pretty good shape right there. Hopefully that'll, I'm holding that. This is where an impact would have been a little nicer. And we'll see. Yes. Now we're perfect. We're going to retighten that up. I'm going to show you why in just a few seconds, why I did it. I'm that particular on details. It's like the fuel cap that goes through the center of the hood. I like the fuel cap to be right in the center of the hood, just like factory. My whole goal is on machines is I like them to look like they've never been apart. And that's my whole goal of it. That's the difference between a mechanic and a great mechanic. And I'm not saying I'm a great mechanic, but I'm just that particular. So now this is the reason why I changed it. Before, when I was going up, it was hitting right here. Now, if you watch, now it is not. It's right in the center. So it's nice and in time. It's not hitting the dash or anything. So yeah, I might be a little bit particular, I'll admit, but that's the way I want it. So now let's do the drag link. And what we're going to do is we're going to replace the whole thing. And actually, we're going to use cotter pins. So now this one here, they have double nutted. It's going to take a 9/16 and a 1/2 inch down here. I was saying my impact is down, so we're going to have to do everything by hand. Actually, they put a bolt all the way through it. I've never seen anybody do that before. So we'll take that right off. I'll show you that. Probably is a great idea, but never saw that before. So on the other side, when we replace it, it'll be 9/16 on the top, 1/2 inch on the bottom. I've never seen anything like this. They double nutted it so it was secure. They must have drilled right straight through that drag link. I'll be honest with you, I've never seen anything like it. I'm going to have to get a deep wall to get down there far enough. So now we have the nut loose. This is where you really miss an impact. So when we get this off, I'll show you what it looks like. And that's what they did. They just took the ball out, drilled all the way through it, and used a bolt. They used a grade 2 bolt. I don't know how secure that was, but that's what they used. So let's go to the other side, and we'll take a pair of side cutters in case the cotter pin is in there. And the cotter pin is in there. Now, I get a lot of these machines in, and they're not tight enough. And it's quite common to get them in, and the steering is loose in them. So right there's the old one. I could have just replaced the drag link. I understand, but I have so many of them on the shelf, front ends. I have them stacked up, and this is not any kidding here. I have front ends stacked up on a shelf and on the floor. And on the floor of my storage building, they're over, I'm going to say they're pretty close to 4 feet deep. And then I have one shelf just dedicated to front ends. I have steering boxes. So if you come in here and you need a steering box for a 782 1811, you're going to leave with one very cheap. So I just put that nut on. Probably should pay more attention of not talking and put the nut on straight. What I did is I didn't put the castle portion of it. I put it downwards instead of like I should. So I'm going to tighten it up. I might have to tighten it just a hair more to get the cotter pin in, but we're going to go to the other side and get that in. And I will tighten that up just a little bit because I can see right now that it's not lined up for the cotter pin. And we'll see if the steering is going to be lined up. So the next video will be putting the harness in, and then we're about ready. We're gonna test the harness, and then we're going to reinstall the M18 in it, and then we're gonna fire it. So now a lot of people worry about the harness. The harness is a simple thing to put in. We're gonna test the harness before to make sure it works so we don't have any issue before we put the motor in. So we're going to put a battery in it and everything, and we're going to like pre-fire it, and we're also going to make sure the tail lights work, the lights work, everything works, the electric clutch. We'll get the cotter pins in. Now I'm going to use a 3/32 cotter pin. And we'll bend them over a little bit. There. So now we're authentic. We'll go to the other side. We might have to turn this one just a tad. I think we're going to have to be honest with you. See if we're lined up there. I think we're going to turn it just a hair more, and we are, just a hair. That's where an impact makes everything a little bit quicker. I'm not going to complain about my M18. My M18 stuff has been really good. I had a warranty issue once with Milwaukee. They took care of me and they treated me outstanding. Milwaukee tools are excellent. I'm going to complain about it. I operate 7 days a week. And they do a lot of work. So we're going to turn that just a tad there. There, so it looks a little better. Now, I realize I'm that particular, so I want everything to look just right. Somebody looks at it. I don't want somebody to look at it and say, well, that guy kind of half did it. So thank you so much for watching. The next time you see part 4, we're going to put the wiring harness in. I so appreciate you watching my channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. And the next time we film, we're going to put that harness in, and we're going to show you how easy it is. So thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.